Hi, Sharks. I'm Charisse, and this is my wife, Vicky.
We're from San Diego, California, seeking $250,000 for 5% equity in our company.
When you go clothes shopping, most stores have a men's section and a women's section.
But Sharks, neither of those sections work for me.
The women's section tends to have more form-fitting clothes, which I like.
But I don't. And while I love the men's style, those clothes are just not made for my body shape.
Sharks, she's got a booty.
True story. We're all unique individuals, and we believe the shopping experience should be based on style preference and body type, not on gender.
That's why we decided to forge the future of fashion with Dapper Boi,
a genderless and size-inclusive apparel line made to fit you both inside and out. Join Dapper Boi in being part of a revolutionary solution that'll bring confidence within us all.
After all, isn't it about time that we all fit in?
Sharks, in front of you, some Dapper Boi clothes we'd love for you to check out.
Good for you.
All right, yeah, good, ding, ding. So I struggle with this a little bit because, as a human, I like the idea of not putting people into categories and bubbles and prisons and buckets of people, but as a business, we kind of have to do that, right? Because we know that riches are in the niches, and in this case, it's kind of like a chicken and the egg kind of thing, because it's like they're making an inclusive thing for everybody, but if it's for everybody, it's technically for nobody. So I love the idea. I love the idea. And also it brings to mind the story of Toys R Us and video games being in the boys section instead of the girls section, because why are video games where the boy, back, if you're old enough to remember being a Toys R Us kid, why were video games in the boys section? Well, because they had a choice. They were either in the boys section or the girls section, because again, that categorization, that labeling that companies and corporations feel they need to do in order to be able to better market and better have people better quickly understand what they're getting themselves into, which I don't love as a human, but as a business, it makes life a lot easier. And it does make life easier for people who don't necessarily want to just kind of feel like everything, nothing should be categorized. It may I need it to be categorized. It needs to be organized for me to understand. Is this for me? Is it not for me? Everything can be for you. And in Vicky's case, Vicky went to the men's section and was like, yeah, these clothes are cool. I feel it, but they're not built for me, right? They're not form fitting for me. And that is a problem, solution, entrepreneurship, professional problem solvers. That's what we're here to do. So $250,000 for 5%. It's like right on the cusp there. Hopefully, they, have some wiggle room to go up if they're going to be able to get an offer. $250,000 is right at that bubble tipping point of whether or not the Sharks will bite at all. And hopefully they got some sales to back up that 250 for 5%. Anyway, I'm going to be featuring one of your comments from the super community down below at the end of this video, as well as checking out Charisse and Vicky's website and social media at the end.
You guys,
Thank you.
I'm really intrigued. You sell direct to consumer? Because you're asking retailers to create a third category, right?
Right. Mm-hmm. And, obviously we're not opposed to creating this third category or not, but right now we feel like direct to consumer is the way to go, especially, with being mission-driven brand and just being easy to shop online.
Good looking stuff. So are you blowing it up on social, or how are you getting the word out to your community?
Yeah, so Facebook and Instagram mostly. We're excited to start dabbling to some influencer marketing as well.
How do you come up with this?
I used to shop in the women's department, and those styles were just never for me. I never felt confident. I felt frumpy. I felt unseen. But we started Dapper Boi 7 years ago now, and literally it came from a pair of jeans. Jeans was the first thing I tried on in the men's department. And it was the scariest thing to go to that section, to maybe be judged. But it was exactly what I wanted to be. It was like the confidence I wanted. That was my style. It was emotional. But years later, I realized those clothes just never fit my body type. And so we saw a bunch of people just like myself with the same exact problem.
So I
think that a third section, could make sense. The problem is everything has to pay rent. So they put in a third section, they put some of the best of this and some of the best of this, and they kind of make this like Mod Podge, from a does this pay rent standpoint, it makes it really kind of tough to know unless you're bringing in a third line that you could track like those specific SKUs to know like are they actually selling in that area, unless you're like re-skewing things as they come through the door. So it's like, hey, we have these jeans, they're in the men's section, but in this third, in this like genderless section that just makes people feel included, being inclusive. We gotta reskew that, right? So that we know that they're those jeans that are men's jeans or they're women's jeans in their respective sections are getting sold from that section. And I think, it's just another layer. Now, if it pays its rent, it pays, the square footage that it's taking up in the store, and you're taking away from something because there's always something else that could be in that space, then I think it makes a lot of sense. I almost wonder or you put the women's and the men's sections like almost like in like up against each other rather than having like usually like a lot of these stores like have them in separate sides, and like you make the back like there's like a blended section that you can go to get those things. So I mean, I could definitely see it, but in this case, direct to consumer is the way to go. Building a community of people that feel passionate about what you're providing, no matter what it is, I think is absolutely the best way that you can go. It'll pay dividends where you don't have to pay a lot of marketing to get people to keep coming back, and people will feel a sense of pride for the things that they're wearing versus like, I needed this, it provided it, and it solved that issue. So like, cool, but I'm not going to go ringing the bell on social media about how I just got this, pair of jeans, or how I just, and for any, from my understanding, and even personal experience, especially from my understanding for women, when you find that pair of jeans, that's your pair of jeans because they fit the perfect way. And because they're so, I mean, clothes just do not fit the way. They're just generic. They're too generic in most cases. So I that's another thing I have a problem with this is as far as like how much inventory do they have to be able to hold on to make this whole business work? Because when you're talking about like we're building clothes that are for people that maybe the big box would buy a little bit or not at all, or you could order it online from them for certain sizes, certain cuts, certain fits. And then you're like taking all that and you're like, okay, and we're going to bring it under one roof. Like it makes sense direct to consumer, probably not so much. It'll probably, at that point you might end up with a lot on the discount, discounted or clearance rack, because you just end up with having these sizes that like you got to have the right person with the right body fit coming in, and there just isn't enough people to float that. And then again, it goes back to everything has to pay rent, and if there isn't enough people buying it, then it's taking up too much space, then it probably won't be there for very long. So direct to consumer through a community, absolutely the way to go.
Guess that your sales are less than $1 million. Please,
I think they're
let me be wrong. Let me be wrong.
So lifetime sales in the last 7 years, we've done about 3.5. And actually, the way we run our business is pre-order campaigns.
That's very good.
So we bootstrapped the brand, and last year we were at 1.2.
Yeah. Oops.
Yeah.
I got you. So why don't we get into the margins? What do you? What's an average margin?
Take this shirt, for example.
Yeah, that shirt is $9.40, and we sell it for $60. Landed price for jeans, $15. We sell them for $99.
Nice.
What did you mean when you referenced a pre-order campaign? How does that work?
So how we were able to bootstrap is that we launched these products at what we call intro pricing. So it's usually about a 50% margin at that point. And that really creates a sense of urgency within our customers. Our repeat customer rate is 51%.
Wow.
These people are waiting for our products to come in.
And how do you execute that exactly? I've never heard that.
So we launch a product, we put out on email, social, everywhere, and then the customers go ahead and pre-order the product, and we usually deliver within 6 to 10 weeks.
But I will admit here, COVID, killed us. Right now with the COVID delays, we're seeing 6-7 months.
Ouch.
Wow.
And so how?
All right, that's way too long to be waiting for a pair of jeans. Though if it is the perfect pair of jeans, I could see that. I mean, the margins are great. I love the fact that they've flipped the model on its head of instead of starting up high, coming down, we start at a reasonable level, 50% margin, and then work it back up, right? But I am curious as to how many customers are they letting pre-order at that, right? So are you doing enough to create FOMO at that price where it's like, only 2% of customers can get that really relatively low percentage margined product? Because the real issue there is, again, with so many sizes and so many different cuts and things that you're offering, that's a lot of inventory that you got to have on hand to be able to make all this happen. So if you're, is everything paying its rent? Is it paying for the space, the physical space in which it takes up in your warehousing or wherever you're keeping it? It can get real hairy real quick, depending on how many different things and how many different sizes that we're talking about here.
How much do you have in inventory right now?
60 grand.
Okay.
But it's across a lot of sizes.
And that's what makes it tough. How much cash do you guys have?
Maybe $100 today.
$100?
Yeah. But
$100?
I'm not. Yep. We're at the point here where we just sold our house.
Oh, no.
It's vulnerable and not fun to talk about, but we believe in this brand like more than anything.
So far,
but Vicky's here and she ain't crying, right? She's not shedding those tears. She's being positive. With that said, holy cow, that is a really big bet for something that you have $60,000 in inventory with $100 in cash. I'm gonna guess that it went to a debt or something. That's why you needed to sell the house. If you only got $100 in cash, I'm sure the house had to be worth something, right? Though with that said, maybe it was mostly in the mortgage. I don't know. Prices depending on when they bought the house, housing market has been crazy the last couple of years and probably worth more than whatever they bought it for whenever they bought it.
you're losing money, right?
Yes.
Okay. So this
How much money are you losing?
on intro
Right
pricing is killing your margin.
Wait, Kevin, how much money are you losing?
Yeah, so I think we're about 150,000 negative this year.
What did you lose last year?
313.
So you're 450 in the hole, right?
Yeah.
Guys, something.
And that's now, right? How much of that money that they took from the house sale, 100,000 or 50,000 or 200,000, and paid off debt that they already had before that, right? Or from there, down to the 313,000 that they lost last year. So, yeah, that is rough. I feel terrible, but I want to point out Vicky being super positive about it, moving forward, and Kevin started to bring up the fact that the pre-order might be just completely killing them. Look, when you're doing this, you have to be really intentional with the percentage of people that you're letting in get in at that price. Not just, hey, we're taking pre-orders and buy as many as you want. And it's like, it's got to be, and they might be doing this, but they haven't said this here in the video, right? You know how many you're selling, you know how many people are coming to your website. You need to maybe do a stepping stone, right? So it's not just like, oh, we're making 50% margin, then it jumps up to 100. Do like 50, 70, and then 100, or 50, 70, 80, and then 100. So the price jumps up to get to that price that it's supposed to be. And that really, it breaks my heart. But 51% repeat customers, a huge deal. That is a tremendous amount of people that are wanting to come back and buy more product from you. I'm kind of curious if they're going to ask them about their checkout, like how much their customer average checkout or cart average is, just because I feel like that there's probably things that are maybe missing there to get that cart average up higher and push that margin up higher. And you might want to even, I mean, obviously we're gonna check out their website afterwards, but I'm just really, really curious as to, like, if you have these kind of margins, you're selling, you're buying at 15, you're selling at 99. The money's got to go somewhere. So is it going into marketing? Is it going into, I mean, obviously it ain't going into a mortgage anymore. So that's rough. And I'm kind of curious as to where Charisse and Vicky have gone to live in the meantime.
Doesn't add up for me.
Yeah.
Right? Because your margins are like this.
Yeah.
And your shipping costs shouldn't be that astronomical.
Right. What happened was I also started spending in marketing. I hired a consultant.
That's where you went
marketing team.
wrong. Yeah.
Exactly.
So how much did you spend on marketing?
I would say, it was definitely over 30% of.
Oh my God.
Of what?
So you have this
30% of, like, profit? Like, that's not good. That is, look, I've been around for a while, right? I've had these people that come through and they're like, oh, let's do Facebook ads. Let's do these different kinds of ads. And they're like, just give me, $10,000 and I will spend it all and we're going to blow this business up and blah, 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 blah. The best people that I know that I'm friends with, that I can safely vouch for in the social media marketing and ad marketing space, wouldn't spend more than $500 on the first ad spend, period. Not $5,000, $10,000, $20,000. No. You have to figure out who that market, who that target market you're actually going to reach out to is, and then turn up the dial on that versus, I'm just going to guess that it was a scatter shot.
Rabid community that wants to buy from you. You don't need to market them.
It was our attempt, and it was a wrong attempt to try to expand and go further, but we were not ready for that. We will be ready for that, but not now. That's why we need experts like you guys to come on board.
The reason why
that's not a great answer.
People are waiting 6 and 7 or 8 months is, like you said, it's a community. It's a movement. It's funny that FUBU, Forest Bias, has become used a lot in the LGBTQ plus community. Yeah, am I right? And you are Forest Bias. That's who you are. Why are you trying to go anyplace else? If other people adopt
100%.
it, it's no problem.
100%.
But why are you going anyplace else? There's so many people that identify with you right now. Stop trying to be everything to everybody.
I have to argue that, and it's because I don't want to be categorized. I want to fit in with everybody.
Listen, I'm pro-black, but never anti anything else.
No, of course.
It doesn't mean that other people won't accept you. So I have to be honest. I have to give you my assessment of the business. I got to try to find a way to help you. I'll mentor you, but
Appreciate
as for the business, I'm out.
Thank you.
Well, that's great to see Damon wanting to step up and mentor these two entrepreneurs here, because he did it with Mo's Bows, and I think there was one other that I know of out that he decided he was going to mentor, and I think that's great that he wants to step up and do that here. Now, with that said, this goes back to the chicken and egg thing. We don't want to be categorized. Look, I don't want to be categorized either. In fact, in my first book, I wrote about not labeling everything, trying to put everything into a category and a label, especially when we're talking about people. Because we're humans, we're different, we're messy, we're individuals. Even when we're not really individuals, we're following in some shape or form as sheep, if you will, in certain regards, but not in every regard, right? So it's tough. So you want to fit in, but at the same time, the brand, it doesn't necessarily fit in, and I kind of feel like that it should probably lean in heavier there, right? Like, again, riches are in the niches, so go heavy into that one. You can always create a separate brand later on down the road once you have the money. That opens up more time and energy, right? We get the 3 strings that we get to pull on: time, energy, and money. So if you're going to do that, once you get the money with Dapper Boi, great name. No problem with the name, no problem with the brand logo or anything like that. once you get that money, now you can invest less energy and less time into building a separate brand because you have money to put into that, towards that other brand to help make it flourish. It's a shame that they got taken for a ride by a marketing consultant that just was like, yeah, let's just keep spending and spending and spending. Part of that reason is because you're doing a scatter shot at that point, and you're trying to educate people on this thing that, not everybody has the same thought process of like, don't label me, let's not label people. Let's just like kind of be, right? Every person is an individual person. And so not everybody has that feeling, and by trying to like scattershot to everybody, you're trying to educate these people to say, look, these are great clothes. It doesn't matter if you're guy, girl, non-binary. It doesn't matter what you identify as. These are just great clothes that fit great, right? For people who have individual sizes and individual shapes and curves and everything, right? So while you can market on that, I would strongly go against that, because the idea is to be able to get people that look at what your product is, identify, boom, I'm going there, right? I want to find out more about it. Maybe I buy, maybe I don't. Maybe I tell a friend and they go and buy. But I want to be able to look at something and say, yes, it's for me, or no, it's not for me. And by chasing good money with bad money, and they didn't say what 30% of what was spent, but 30% of any of the numbers is going to be a huge chunk. And if you're not getting that kind of return real quick, you got to turn that tap off. Don't be signing any long-term contracts. And if you do, this is not financial advice, but I would strongly suggest that you find a way out of it, because it is, if it's not working, then it ain't working. And that means that you need to pivot and do something else before you are going and selling your house. For real.
You guys, I like to sit here and say I've done 1 million products, and I have. And I've done something in just about every medium. But the one thing I've really never done is jeans, clothing. I don't know how I could bring value to your business and help you out. So unfortunately, I wish you good luck, but I'm out.
Thank you very much.
I understand your mission. I respect it. There is such a need for this, but I think your problem is much larger cash-wise than you envisioned it to be. Even when you came in here and we gave you the $250,000 for your stock, that's nothing. That's not going to get you over the hump. It's a rough one. So I wish I could be with you, but I am out.
That's a shame. I feel like Barbara would have been a really great partner for this, just because she very much has always gone on about very like individualism and feeling like, is this, let's make stuff for people, right? Whether it's in food products or just all kinds of products, right? Like, and finding that niche. But again, if you're trying to be for everybody, then you're for nobody. And it's difficult because we're talking about inclusiveness here. So it's like, it's like brain melting on me.
I'm going to mention one other thing, and it's pretty important here. We're about to do a collaboration with another brand that does jeans, and they do 3D modeling. So what happens with that is that...
Guys, Don't do that.
Don't do the collaboration?
No. You have a fundamental problem. You don't know what business you're in. You have this community that's like this.
Golden.
Your clothes are not the product. The community is looking to your clothes as their membership, as the way that for them to say, we all belong together, that this is us. The clothes are secondary. It's keeping the community together that's important. But I have a fundamental problem as an investor, because we're not on the same page on what makes the business. It's about, I want more inventory. I've got this collaboration. I've got all these other things. That's not the vision I would have, and it's your vision that's far more important. So for those reasons, I'm out.
That is 1,000%. The community is gold, and anybody that's willing to wait 6 to 7 months on a pair of jeans, I mean, that person, you got to send some appreciation that way. But it's hard to keep that hype train going too for that long and keep people really engaged. And if you're able to do that, I think at this point, realizing, getting that wake up call that it's really about the community and not just about the clothes. And as like a Harley Davidson, right? Like you buy the Harley Davidson, you're buying into the lifestyle, you get the clothes, you get, all the accessories and things like that. And kind of really get into it. You got to find another way to monetize this community. A YouTube channel that goes and finds like the best jeans or something, you know what I mean? Like go and come up with other ways, a monthly membership, support community, something that helps float the boat, especially when you're going through the illness, and you don't have a manufacturer that's got your back, that's able or able to get your back and ship, regardless of how much they want to or not. It's you got to come up with other ways to monetize that community, not just waiting 6 months to get clothes in the door and get them out.
You're not only all in, you're all in 2,000%. There's only one direction.
Yes.
It's up to the surface so you can breathe some oxygen. That is not a wonderful place for an investor to be.
Right.
I wish you guys the best of luck, but I'm out.
Yeah. Thank you.
Good luck, guys.
Thank you very much.
Keep on fighting.
Thank you.
Good luck, you guys.
Let me give you this.
Hey.
Yes.
This is my number.
Awesome.
Good luck.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Check out their website in a
Appreciate it.
second.
Thanks,
All right.
guys.
Thank you, guys. I think the Sharks reminded us that our community is everything.
It's not the end of Dapper Boi. And you know what? At the end of the day, we came here to build a relationship. And I'm so happy that we walked out of here with hopefully a mentorship.
Yes.
So that's huge.
Yes.
That is huge. It's something that hasn't happened that many times. Mo's Bows. I know here on the channel, I thought it was my opinion that, Tania Speaks, maybe should have got one. She walked out with a deal with Mark. But, even from any of them, a mentorship. But this is great. I love, if you watch the channel a lot, I love seeing faces, people enjoying the product. Let's check out the you got Forbes and USA Today, New York. So if you go to jeans, we got 119. So it looks like all the jeans are up to $119. Slim Indigo jeans. So they have sizes ranging from 26 to 52. That is a lot of SKUs to have to stock. I hate to say, because we're trying to be inclusive, but man, like I feel like you pick a lane and get the money that you can, right, and build that community in because riches are in the niches, and then then you could again go and roll out a separate brand or something that would enable you to be able to serve those other communities as well. It just going too wide. I don't want to say too fast because it's 7 years in the making, but going too wide it can also just kill you. Now, with that said, like maybe they were able to get jeans when they weren't, during the illness, when they couldn't get joggers or they couldn't get shorts. It seems like everything's in stock unless you have to read into it to find out that it is not in stock, though. This review says slim light gray jeans, but these are joggers, so this review is not the review for these joggers apparently. But very I feel like this shot kind of isn't this maybe supposed to show the butt, and we got a hand in the way. Okay, here you go. So the only size available is extra small. Man, that is so many sizes to have to stock. Anyway, let's check out the social media. So we got 39,600 followers over on Instagram. Some posts have a ton of engagement, some not so much. Kind of intriguing. I always love seeing people and faces. So I think that's great. It's just weird that there's only, some of them have 40, some of them have 513, 1,700. So it's kind of weird that some are hitting the mark and some just are really like a lot. Well, if I don't know, the further back we're going, the small like I don't know, you get 266, and then the next 6 weeks ago, then a week before that you got 266 likes. So 14 likes to 266 to 77. Seems kind of all over the place. Seems really odd to me. Now, I'm not an Instagram buff, but if I had to guess, I mean, I know some of the most popular or biggest Instagram accounts out there have like a real like motif to them and a real like language to the posts. To the images and specific filters and things, and kind of gives it a real like certain appeal. And this kind of seems a little bit all over the place, which I guess is, let me guess, over on Facebook, that is not as big of a deal. 45,000 likes over on Facebook, quite a bit of engagement on their Shark Tank posts, quite a bit of engagement on their Reels, or is that called Reels? I don't even know. Is it? Yeah, Reels. I didn't know if that was just for Instagram, but so they got a lot going on here. Not as much engagement as Instagram. I mean, that's usually the case, pretty much across the board when we check these out. But 197 reviews, 4.3 stars. That's great to see as well. Over on Twitter, they got 1,295 followers. And just a little bit of engagement. I mean, that's generally what you're going to find in most of these videos that I do here when it comes to Twitter. Anyway, Charisse, Vicky, I'd love to have you come on the channel for an interview. Just drop a comment down below. Like Casey here, it said, first to comment, question mark. Love watching your videos. First time commenting, though. Keep up the good work, Joe. Thank you so much, Casey, for being a part of the super community. I greatly appreciate you watching and finally commenting and being a part, getting involved, and down in the comments below. I'd love to see you more. Anyway, I'll see you in one of these two videos over here. Take care and go be super.